Welcome back to Matchday Live. A quiet night at the Bridge. Goalless it finished between Chelsea and Brighton. Abby, we were saying at half time saying that the game needed something, a bit of a spark, a bit of an injection of pace or of tempo. And I suppose that the game didn't really get that, did it? The first half was very much like the second half and not a huge amount of difference to speak of.
Not really, no. There was a bit more urgency, I think, when the subs were made, but I mean, not really. I think we're lucky to come away with a point, if I'm being completely honest.
It's a weird game, isn't it, Dan? And I think we've all felt this before kickoff with West Ham dropping points, Liverpool dropping points, that it'd be an opportunity to get something done. And it does feel maybe it's a bit of an opportunity missed this evening.
We've done that a few times. Every time there's like, all right, these are the 3 points. We know we can get them. We have to get them because there's X or Y at stake. We never do it. I don't know what it is about not winning the games that on paper we have to win or should win. But it's just, I don't know. It was a very flat performance the whole way through. And I can't really even think of many opportunities we created. But it happens, it's football. You do have flat games. But it really does put a bit of pressure on us now to make something happen. It's a real 6-pointer against West Ham.
Massively. Jay, we spoke at half time about it feeling like a potentially 2 points drop. When Danny Welbeck hits the inside of the post, does it still feel like that?
I mean, neither side deserved to win it, in all honesty. It would have been a smash and grab from their point of view. And, Giroud's had half a chance at, a couple of them. We didn't deserve to win. The draw was a fair result. Yeah, it's a very frustrating performance. It from the very first minute, it felt like that, and it never got better. It literally just didn't get any better. And it opened up a little bit when we went to a 4 at the back, but it was. I mean, it was a tough watch. That was a tough watch.
Let me ask you about the 4 at the back, Jay, because when Callum Hudson-Odoi come on, Reece James went to left back, Christensen come out to the right hand side as well. We've seen the 4. I suppose that the last time I can think of us going to a 4 was the West Brom game, where it kind of completely seemed to almost fall apart. Then the 4, I mean, obviously we didn't concede tonight. Do you think that's an option going forward then for Thomas Tuchel? Because he does seem to change to it quite frequently when things aren't going perhaps the way that he wants.
I mean, it's an option when things aren't going well. You summed it up very well. That he's not. We never look comfortable though in a 4. I don't think. He went to a 4. When we went down to 10 men against West Brom when we conceded 2 goals. He then went back to a 3 and then a 4 again, I seem to remember. And he was trying all sorts. Like, you've got to try to change the game because personnel and shape change is what they're the 2 options that a manager's got. It offered, I think, something a little bit better up front, not a lot, but the truth is that actually when we went to a 4, they looked more dangerous going forward. Kerr got caught. As the ball into Jorginho from the keeper, it's one of those how many straight balls we played, and he's got his back to play, and we caused ourselves more problems than they actually created. And let's be honest, you're right. On another day, Danny Welbeck hits that an inch and a half closer to the goal, they take all 3 points. It would have been a travesty, but I think it just shows a bit of desperation in all honesty, Joe. That's he's rolling the dice, isn't he? He's trying to change the momentum of the game, and that's an option to him. But going forward, whenever we go to a 4, boys, worry, and girls, worry, because it means that the system and the game isn't going our way.
Abby, before the game, we were waxing lyrical about squad depth, and again, it's helpful. It's handy to have a squad of this size to be able to rotate and change players. But I suppose one of the issues with making so many changes, perhaps some players do come in a bit cold, or there isn't that familiarity. There isn't those partnerships we spoke of before the game that started to blossom. You can't have that with 25 players. It just doesn't work. It's impossible to have. So I suppose tonight maybe is a little bit of an example of the good and the bad side of squad rotation and having such a big squad. You've got the brilliance of being able to welcome players in and of elite quality, but also you do have a bit of an issue when perhaps they haven't got that those relationships that build up with players that play week in, week out with each other.
Yeah, you could tell there definitely wasn't that instant chemistry when the subs were brought on. It took Callum a little while, I thought, to get into the game. Giroud didn't really ever fully come into. Obviously, had a couple of kind of half chances, but he wasn't really brought into the game too much. So I guess that's the thing. We've got the squad depth. They don't necessarily play with each other all the time. So sometimes, you can see that. I just think there were too many players that had off days today. And sometimes that happens, it just felt like it wasn't our day, was it? So we come away with a point, it's not all bad, but yeah, turn our attention to the weekend. That's going to be an even bigger game than we thought it was going to be.
Completely right. I think Abby's hit the nail on the head there, Dan, hasn't she? In terms of it felt like perhaps we just weren't quite at it today. And you have days like that. It's football. Things like that happen. I suppose that the positive when you look at it is the fact that we've got a point when perhaps teams around us haven't had a point this weekend, and we go into a game at the weekend where you can make the most of it.
Yeah, I mean, we're lucky. We've got another opportunity to pull away again against West Ham, but these opportunities, they're running out. There's only so many of them left. This was the one that would have allowed us, to maybe play against West Ham with a little less pressure, and knowing that we've got a two kind of position cushion, having gone into third. But it hasn't happened, and that's how it is. I always feel like sometimes when our backs are against the walls, we end up playing better anyway, and we'll end up going and beating West Ham now. But whatever that was today, hopefully the boys can get that out of their system. Just because it was just flat. Maybe it was the personnel changes. It was half the team effectively that changed. There's a change of Mason Mount playing in midfield. There was a lot of variables that could have contributed to it, but it's gone now. It's behind us as football, and now we've got to look at West Ham, and we have to make it happen there.
Mm-hmm.
Completely right, Jay. I think we've got, if we get to the Champions League final, we've got 10 games left this season. So without that, we've still got 9 games to play, or whatever it is in terms of all competitions. Obviously, the weekends are of massive importance. Is there anyone that you're looking at ahead of this weekend that definitely comes back into the side, or that definitely starts?
Well, the keeper for me, I would have thought would be the first change, and the team that I don't know how bad Silva is. That may well be an option for him. I was surprised to see Christensen start on the right hand side. That may well have been the fact that they were going to play the way that they did, and you're looking for your centre half to step into the middle of the park. And Christian, as we know, is an excellent footballer. He's got a little bit of an issue in the middle of the park with cover, because I think him and Jorginho play really well together, and I think tonight we really did miss cover. Mm-hmm. Mason had an off day today, and he wasn't alone. And I think we did miss Mason higher up the pitch, so that position's a little bit of an issue for him. I thought Ziyech was way off it today. He looked like he'd had a game at the weekend. He really would. Even when he got into areas and had a little bit of time and space where he's got the ability to do it, either run away from him or perhaps didn't quite have the touch. And so I don't think it was his greatest game either. But he's got a selection issue, hasn't he? Really, when you think about some of I think I know the best team. I think Chilwell comes back into that as well, but it's massive now because Liverpool. Don't forget, Liverpool drop points. They've been let off the hook. The big winners today and over the last couple of days is Leicester. They're the big winners here.
Completely right, Abby. I mean, I think we've all kind of said it in terms of it being perhaps an off day. I mean, Chelsea had 7 shots on goal this evening. I think under Thomas Tuchel we averaged around 16 shots on target. So I think that kind of says it all really in terms of the output and everything like that. That like we keep saying, it feels slightly deflating because tonight is a game that you expect to win, but also when we look back at it, we have got 10 games to play this season or a little bit under that. Games like tonight, if you've got an off day and you come away with a point, you might look back at it and go, do you know what? That wasn't the worst point in the world in a couple of weeks, but perspective is everything, isn't it? If we get a result of the weekend, people forget about tonight.
Yeah, exactly. I think, it happens in football. We just need to turn our attention to the weekend. If we win that, we'll definitely soon forget about this and we'll be very happy indeed. It just felt like today there was just no pace in the way that we played. And I think that's such a big strength of this Chelsea side, isn't it? Creating problems for defences by just running into space and just charging at people. And it just felt like, we just weren't on it today. But at the weekend, it's got to be on, and it's got to be on 110%, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Completely right. Obviously, plenty coming up on the fifth stand for you, including highlights of today's game, which will be available from midnight. On Friday, we will have the manager speaking to the press before a huge Premier League game this week, and we've all spoken about it. It's going to be massive. Before we get to that, though, we've got live PL2 action for you Friday evening from 6:55, and we take on Manchester United. And then it's a London derby. Bragging rights, 3 points, top 4 positioning, all on the agenda, live from the London Stadium. Make sure you join us on Matchday Live from 4:20 for that one. So not quite the 3 points the Blues are after this evening, but a top 4 place still very much within our grasp, and Saturday will be a big one. So do make sure you join us for it. London derby. Come on, you Blues. Thank you very much for watching and enjoy the rest of your evening.